So, hold on. Before we get into this, tell me, before I call you the ist word, what's the proper term for you?
What?
Racist.
No, like parkourist?
Oh, okay. Thank you. Tracer or just person who does parkour.
Tracer?
Yeah, tracer.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's spelled like tracer, but U-R at the end because it's French, because the whole sport is. Yeah. It's sprinkled with a little bit of pretentiousness.
I was just going to call you like a free runner. Or
that works.
Yeah, that's
You
what
can also just say free runner. That's fine.
Thomas said on the last episode, I don't know if you listened to it.
Yeah.
He said you'd punch him in the face if he called you a parkourer.
I've heard everything at this point.
Yeah. Thomas told me you can do a backflip. Is that true?
Yes, I can do mini flips.
Wow.
I'm trying to do fucking back full, but that never happens.
What is that?
So you go backwards, and then you spin a 360, and you land. It's like a twist. I can do it on a trampoline, but that's about it.
But you can do just like a standing backflip?
Yeah, I can do like standing front, back, side. I can do like a front 180.
I've watched this man flip over fire before.
Oh, yeah. I love doing that. That's always fun. Campfire is one of my favorite things.
Can you do that, Thomas?
No.
Have you ever tried?
Dude, I can't even do a backflip on a trampoline. And those ones are supposedly like easier on normal surface.
My threshold of ability on a trampoline is significantly higher than it is in reality. Because I can do front fulls and back fulls all day long on a trampoline, and then I step on the ground and I just land on my face when I try those.
Do you think you could survive your average Mario level? And if you had to go through it in real life?
If you were Mr. Mario.
I've been playing a lot of Mario 3D World with Wyatt, my roommate, and I've been doing real bad at some parts. That game is fuking chaos, especially
But
when you
if
try to
it
play
were
with
real life, would you handle it better?
I don't know. That game is kind of fucked sometimes. Probably not. There's like giant bullets coming at me.
What about like one of the early stages? One of the baby stages?
Yeah,
Mario 1-1.
Yeah. I can do all of Mario 1, but put me in like Mario 2, 3. Or...
Mario Lost Levels, you're dead 5 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't played any of the Bowser one, whatever that half of the game is yet, but it looks real cool.
Mm. But yeah.
Anyway, welcome to Screen Weens, episode 95?
I think so.
95. Almost there to 100, where we stop forever. Where we die.
Well, yeah, just commit suicide.
Our number 100 will be us having to defuse a bomb.
You're just gonna sip the Kool-Aid collectively?
Yeah.
All of the cast of Screen Weens?
Yeah. The 4 people.
Yeah.
No, Joe and Pierre are going to take it over for us when we die.
Yeah.
Oh. It's an alternate.
And they're going to do it for another 100 episodes.
And then they'll pass it on to another person.
Yeah.
It'll be like JoJo's.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Every 100 episodes is basically like a new part.
Can I guess who they'd pass it on to? It'd be like, I want to say Lucario and somebody else.
Lucario?
I don't know.
Lucero and that's just him. Anyway, we have Philip on the podcast. He's a long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, I was going to do this thing. I forgot about that, though.
Did you tell him that, or did you just think of that on the fly?
I just thought
of that. Like
he told me about that like a week
ago.
Oh,
right. Yeah, I forgot I even mentioned that.
Whoops. I ruined your day.
Oh, well.
Philip just storms out.
I'm not doing the podcast anymore. Fuck it.
Flips out the window.
Today we're talking about Mr. Wes Anderson.
Second story. 2
of his movies, Fantastic Mr. Fox and The Island of Canines. Yeah. But before that, as always, we just kind of ramble on for a while.
We do. What did you do this week, London?
I've watched the first 6 Fast and the Furious movies.
And enjoy it? Any silver?
Yeah, I kind of expected to enjoy them because I'm like they're kind of fun. I'd seen 7, I'd seen Tokyo Drift, I'd seen the first one. I think the first one's kind of and 4 sucks. 4 is bad and boring. But I thought 5 was legitimately really good, really fun. kind of genuine too. Like surprisingly, I'm like, huh. And then the rest of it, Fast Five.
Oh, that is kind of surprising.
They have a bank vault. They drag a bank vault full through the streets in that one.
I've only seen 7.
Gotcha. I remember liking 7 in theaters too. Like I was like, this is fine.
Have you seen the trailer for the newest one?
I've seen the trailer for the newest one.
Doesn't look good.
It looks dumb, which I'm like, yes, they're all dumb. But,
I at least respect the first couple because they were somewhat authentic to like car culture and had
first 3
cars.
or so, and now they're dumb. But I like dumb movies, so
that's fair.
I'm more a fan of the new. But 2 and 3 were fine, and 6 was fine. Like I've enjoyed most of them, surprisingly so. I thought they were gonna all suck, but I'm like, this is fun. This is fun enough. I also like Vin Diesel. I'm like, he's fun. And especially as the series has progressed, they've pushed away from Paul Walker as the main character, especially after 7, obviously. But it's more of Vin Diesel's show after, like, 3. And I'm like, good, because he's a much more interesting character and engaging actor. Paul Walker's, like, really boring to watch.
But Paul Walker was the real car guy.
He was the real car guy.
I also don't like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson at all, so that's kind of determined.
Dwayne's my boy.
I'm also not a big Dwayne fan. Like, it's not, like, nothing personal.
You hate Samoan people, guy.
No.
Oh, he feels so disingenuous to me. Like, there's
I don't know. For me, every time, like, he feels like he's not the greatest actor, and he's mostly just playing himself, but I like his personality fine enough, and he's, like, having fun. It's like why I like the movie Steel with, my boy, because he's, like, bad, but he's having fun with it. I'm like, that's fine.
Your boy Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah. So I'm fine with...
I've never seen that movie.
It's real dumb. But I like The Rock. My parents met him.
Is that all of the Moana soundtrack run through my brain?
Moana's my jam. Surprisingly so, I rewatched Jumanji, the newest one, The Next Level, which is... I like the first one and like the reboots. I think The Rock's like legitimately pretty good in both of those because they're like, okay, you're playing yourself, but now you have to play someone else too. And he's like, oh shit. So he's actually having to play someone else.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think he's funny in the Fast movies because he's playing himself, but he also walks like an action figure in it. He like has his arms out at all times and he's doing this. It's really funny. And he has a really stupid looking goatee in Fast 5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. What else did I do? Playing lots of board games. Been reading a lot. I started getting back into Thrawn 3 because I took a break for a couple days just to do things. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to finish. I don't know if any of these other bozos are going to finish. Have you finished the first book? Thomas, you have to read 3 books.
Yeah.
Did you say Thrawn or Tron?
Thrawn.
Okay. Those
Yo, the Tron book. You have like a week, you know that, right?
I know. I started yesterday.
If I've learned anything from knowing Thomas,
but I'm already like halfway through the first book, so I'll be fine.
Well, you're going back to work is the only reason. I'm like, yeah, Thomas will probably just read through all these on his...
I'll just read it when I get home from work.
Okay.
If I've learned anything from knowing you for years and listening to this podcast, it's usually last minute.
Yeah. So, like, everything. He's like, yeah, I watched it yesterday. Which, I mean, I usually watch them pretty late in the week, but not because, like, I'm procrastinating, just because I want them fresh in my brain. I feel like Thomas just forgets about them.
Let me tell you, you know, I'm like, the whole week, I'm like, I gotta read Thrawn, but, you know, it's time to put on makeup, it's time to light the lights, it's time to get things started on the Muppet Show tonight.
Have you been watching Muppets?
I've been watching a lot of Muppets material.
How's it been going?
I'm mad about that.
I've been having a fucking blast, but not everything I've watched has been great. I watched the Tales from Muppetland trilogy, which those were made in like the late 60s, early 70s before the Muppet Show.
That's like there's like a Princess and the Frog one kind of thing. Yeah, I've seen them on the Letterboxd, but I haven't watched them.
I liked them. I thought they were pretty good. I'd recommend them to like hardcore Muppets or Henson fans.
Yeah, hardcore Muppet fans.
They're pretty trite if like you just don't like the Muppets because they're basic fairy tale adaptations, except for the Muppet Musicians of like Bremen or whatever it's called. That one is about a donkey who gets a horn stuck on his head when he's running away from his human owner and becomes a traveling musician. That one I don't think is based on a fairy tale. It might be.
It's fucking sick though.
I don't know if that's like folklore. I thought it was the weakest of the 3, but It's because it was very repetitive. I liked the concept.
But he's playing
instead of the
music.
three.
Muppets is my childhood for certain. Like, my dad really loved Muppets, and I grew up with a lot of it. The Muppets Christmas Carol is my favorite movie, and Christmas movie specifically. So I should join you on that journey at some point and watch some of the old.
And it's weird because like I love the Muppets now, but like growing up, I didn't experience a lot of Muppets. Like, I think one of my first introductions to the Muppets was the 2011 movie, which is why it's like my favorite. But then I've watched most of the movies now, and I've gone through some of the material. I still haven't watched a lot of the shows, though.
I would recommend watching The Muppet Show, like just various episodes. I think
The Mark Hamill episode.
Yeah, the Mark Hamill episode's pretty popular.
Yeah.
Paul Williams has an episode. That one's pretty good. The pilot episodes are pretty good.
But I also really like the Christmas Carol movie. There are 2 really good Muppet Christmas movies, and then one really bad one.
Are you talking about the one that crossed over with like Sesame Street?
Yeah, that one's my fucking.
I want to watch that one. I haven't watched it yet.
I love that one. That's that's like one of my favorite Muppet things in general.
I don't think I've seen that. Like a Christmas specific.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes or like an hour.
It's a special from like the early 80s.
Oh, that sounds pretty dope.
I feel like it's one of the last things Jim Henson was like into. Like he shows up in it.
Yeah, it was one of his like later ones, but
and then the other one, I fucking hate. I really don't like that one. Matthew Lillard's in it too, and
are you talking about like one of the other Christmas movies?
Yeah,
because they do like 4.
Yeah, 4. I thought there were only 3.
There's like 2 of the like 2000s ones. There's like one that's like Christmas with the Muppets or whatever, and then there's one that's like Letters to Santa.
Whatever the one with Matthew Lillard is in it.
I don't know. I haven't watched either of them, but I just hear they both aren't very good. But I watched that newer Muppets Now show that came out last year.
How's that one?
I thought it was fine. It was really short though, and I felt like it has potential, but it didn't like really need any of it in the 6 episodes that they released. Also, that's how I found out. I had no idea that Steve Whitmire had been fired from the role of Kermit the Frog in 2017. And they replaced him with another voice actor who does, in my opinion, doesn't do a great Kermit voice. It's very jarring and different.
I think I noticed that and just didn't know it. I definitely heard a difference.
Because Steve Whitmire had been doing him for like 26 years after Henson died.
Yeah.
And then, I guess he was just like, according to Disney, he was hard to work with, so they axed him.
Get out of here, Disney.
I don't know. But, yeah, so I was pretty bummed about that. And he's barely in that new series, so I felt like I didn't really get a chance to even, like, get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they announced Muppets Haunted Mansion special.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I assume it's still going to have the new voice actor in it, so hopefully I'll like it better when that comes out, and that won't, like, ruin my experience or anything. I don't think it will. I'm pretty good about, like, separating that kind of stuff and still getting stuff out of content, even if there's something jarring about it. But yeah. Watched Muppets, read Thrawn yesterday.
Are you enjoying it so far?
I think it's definitely slow.
Star Wars.
It's definitely a slow start. Like, the first 100 pages haven't really... I feel like not a whole lot has really happened, but I feel like it's building, so I'm with it. I'm with it.
Where in the timeline does Thrawn take place?
The first book takes place right after... Pretty much like right after episode 3.
Okay.
Like super early dawn of the Empire kind of deal. And it takes place over like 8 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second book jumps in between like 2 years before A New Hope and like sometime during the Clone Wars. It's some twin storytelling. And then the third book takes place like a couple months after the second book's plot A.
Okay, I was curious to know if it would take place, like, after Jedi at all, given, like, that the original Thrawn didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I guess we're not going to talk about it currently, because it's spoiled, but the current canon of where Thrawn's at would, like, if they did something with him in a book, I'd be like really surprised because they're obviously they're planning on using him in a show soon.
Yeah, I heard a specific show where he may have been mentioned by name.
Also, I realized that I thought next week was going to be our deep dive, and it's not. It's not the first of the. It's the 31st of the month.
Oh,
so I need to figure out what we're watching. So I'm going to be doing that while we're talking. Philip, tell us what's new. What have you been experiencing any media lately?
I've been watching a lot of Initial D lately.
I've been thinking
90s drift anime, which I honestly quite enjoy. Like the first episode is corny, first 3 episodes is corny as fuck because the protagonist is just hellbent on winning this race so his dad will give him gas money, and it's like
that's the type of shit I fucking love in anime.
Yeah, he just keeps repeating the line. He's like, I got a full tank of gas riding on this. I'm like, dude, that's like $20. That's not worth this like major hoopla you're going through for this. But for the majority, it's got a lot of like authenticity in the car culture of it and stuff, and it's a pretty good plot line, so I like it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the original Initial D, but there's a trilogy. It's called like New Initial D, and it's like a trilogy that retells the story kind of deal.
I was wondering if there was newer stuff.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool. There's some like wonky CG every once in a while, but they're really fun to watch too.
There's wonky CG in the current stuff.
Yeah. But me, Pierre, and Joe watched it a while ago, and I had a lot of fun with. I think the second one, I remember being like, "This was awesome."
Yeah. It's got good build-up. Like, the progression keeps going pretty well. Jonathan's watching alongside me.
It's definitely paced really wonky in the movies because they're pushing things together really fast. Well, very cool. Very cool.
The transitions between the CGI and the hand-drawn vehicles is pretty jarring at times because when they're racing, it'll just be like blobs of CGI, and then once they stop, they're really nicely hand-drawn.
Reminds me of the Berserk trilogy of movies. Like, like, it gets okay in, like, the third one, but that first movie, they're, like, running up, and then it flips to, like, the army. I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Thomas exposed me to those 3 movies at one point.
I really like the third movie. I fucking love that third movie, but that first movie's a little rough.
I think in terms of, like, the CG, it's rough, and, like, probably, like, in terms of forming a cohesive story, it's a little quick. But as someone who's read the manga, I think it serves as a nice little recap.
Yeah, no, I like that whole trilogy. I just think the first one definitely is the weakest out of 3.
I think that one also has the best ending scene. I really like the sequence they end on in that one.
What the fuck am I gonna watch? What are we watching? Okay. Oh shit, we don't have any questions today.
Pierre!
Hold on. I had a question that was in our group chat like an hour ago. It's a hypothetical, but I thought it'd be a good thinker.
Yeah,
it was
fuck Thomas.
Huh?
No, what?
But it was a meme that Tito sent that was if you could have an alien take you through space and see the far out reaches of the galaxy for 1 week and see all the cool shit in other civilizations and stuff, but 15 years passes on Earth, would you go?
It's just me that goes?
Yeah.
No.
Would I age?
You would age the week you leave for.
Okay, I was... Oh, okay.
But everyone else would age.
Gunbusters.
So you could come back and I'd be like, "Hello, Thomas, I'm 40 now. Are you ready to record Screen Weens?
I'd be like,
there are hundreds of episodes that I've done by myself. We have 2 more subscribers."
Ooh.
I wouldn't... if I could take Hinata, maybe, but I'm not going to leave my significant other for 15 years.
Yeah.
No matter how cool that would be.
Like,
that would be awesome. But
you definitely have to leave a lot of people behind for 15 years.
I don't really give a shit about anyone else. If I could take Hinata, maybe my cat, because my cat would die if I were literally for that long.
Jonathan's caveat was he would do it for 3 years if the time was significantly lower. 3's not terrible. I'd think about that.
I definitely think about 3 years. 15 years is like, nah.
It'd be kind of cool to also skip time a little bit on Earth.
Yeah. Hey, maybe it'll be better.
I'll come back and it'll finally all be gone.
With the 15-year caveat, I was wondering if the Earth might even still be here.
I'm
on
sure.
account of global warming.
I'm sure it'll be here. The Earth will be fine.
Yeah. We might just be in a dystopian state.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson.
That's not who we're talking about today. Let's talk about Wes Anderson.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Let's
What's with all the S. Anderson directors?
Yeah, what the fuck?
There's a conspiracy.
I didn't know who either of those other people
Paul
were.
Thomas Anderson made Punch Drunk Love, There Will Be Blood,
Magnolia,
Boogie Nights.
I haven't watched any of those.
Well, we have a 5-hour-long podcast you can listen to about him.
Oh.
Don't do it.
They're all great movies.
Yeah.
All of his movies are pretty.
All of his movies are pretty legit.
And then there's Paul W.S. Anderson,
Who made
was on
all the
opposite
Resident
side of
Evil
spectrum.
movies, and he made the Monster Hunter movie, and he made
He's most
what
famous
is it?
for being
Apollo
Video game movies.
Apocalypse. Nah, is that what?
He
What did
didn't
he do?
Apocalypse.
What did he do? What's the one? Event Horizon. All those movies. I don't know why their titles get mixed up. He did Event Horizon.
He's most famous for being married to Mila Jovovich.
Who's the main
Jovovich?
character in
Is that
Resident
her
Evil?
name?
Oh.
Mila Jovovich. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
or Jovovich. I don't know.
But yeah.
And he marries her because he directed her in Resident Evil, and she somehow was like, "Yeah, this guy's cool."
And then she's been in every single one of his movies since.
Yeah.
I don't know about that as a factual statement, but definitely feels like it.
I mean, what else? I think all he's done since then is Resident Evil and Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I haven't played through many of the Resident Evil games, but I know Village just came out.
I bought
It's
8. Yeah, I
a lot.
bought Village.
I have not bought
I've
it.
watched people play it.
Hinata asked me to buy the game with the big titty lady. That's what she said to me. And I'm like, okay. So we played like an hour and a half.
That's their selling point.
It's pretty decent so far. It's not as good as 7, at least the intro. 7's intro is fantastic. Like the first 2 hours of gameplay is so good. It'll get there soon. Yeah.
Solely based on me listening to the official podcast earlier today. I've heard some mixed things about it for sure.
About it. Yeah. We'll see. It isn't my favorite so far, but we'll see how I feel.
I don't remember saying anything about that on our last podcast.
Yeah, we are the only podcast. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The only one. Things
Must have
are
been
in
a fever.
theaters again. It's really weird.
Yeah.
I almost went to the theater, but I'm like, I'll just wait because I got my second vaccination last week, so I'll just wait until next Thursday before I start stepping out.
Things have been in theaters for a surprisingly long amount of time.
Yeah.
Like back in December, there was stuff showing, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I just don't. I know
right
at
now.
least this theater has been closed for a while.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like, I'm not going to go anywhere else. God, what the fuck are we going to... I should just pick garbage.
We could just do a bag episode.
We
Right.
probably will.
Are you talking about for a director deep dive? Or just
No.
No, for regular. We already know what we're doing for the deep dive.
Yeah, we're going to do the
I got a
99
proposal
Hunter
for you.
Hunter.
You do a really good Adam Sandler movie and a really bad Adam
I
Sandler.
was just talking to Hinata. I'm like, I might pick Adam Sandler as the deep dive the next month and just make Thomas watch really bad Adam Sandler.
You gotta put a good one in with the bad one though. Balance it out.
But we've
But
already...
it'd be funny.
Or we haven't watched Punch... We didn't watch Punch Drunk.
Yeah, that was that the one
I think
Thomas Anderson movie
we didn't watch
or-
that one.
Oh, and
we didn't
Phantom
watch Phantom Thread, and we didn't watch Inherit Vice.
Oh, but I had watched
Yeah,
it
you watched it.
because people were doing...
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I need to rewatch that movie.
So do I. I saw it once in theaters.
Because I really liked it. I remember really liking it and nobody else liking it, like in the group I was watching with. So I'm like, what the fuck?
Just do Grown Ups and Jack and Jill.
Grown Ups and Grown Ups 2.
Oh, that'd be bad.
Was Grown Ups the good one?
No.
I think it's the one
or
that
those-
Rob Schneider
they were
said
both
yes
bad.
to.
Oh.
I'll just pick. I think I know what I'm picking.
Oh.
I think I know what I'm picking. Okay. Anyway, let's just jump into Fantastic Mr. Fox. Sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
Had either of you seen this movie?
I've
before?
seen this movie twice before.
Okay. I used this as an excuse for me to watch both of these movies.
Oh, that's fair.
I had never seen them.
Joe watched them both with me, and it was his first time watching them both.
Oh, nice.
I wonder if he's home.
Just, Joe, get over here.
God damn it, the tree's in the way.
This was apparently one of Matt's favorite movies when it came out.
God damn it, I don't know.
Huh? Whose movies?
Fantastic Mr. Fox was one of Shania's favorite movies when it came out.
I mean,
Shania Twain?
No, Shania.
Definitely not. She hates that for certain.
Oh, man! Sorry!
She's heard every variation of her name, though, because...
I mean, my name's London, I get it.
Yeah. My name's Thomas.
Being
Griffin.
spelled...
Thomas Griffin,
It's because I
Peter
got...
Griffin's son.
Yeah, I got a lot of that.
Pretty hard. Never would have thought of that one.
Wow. Oh, Thomas the Train too?
You kind of look like him.
Probably. I always thought I looked more like PJ the engine plane. Or whatever.
Yeah, JJ the jet plane?
Yeah.
That show was like nightmare.
These people barely have faces. How does anyone look like anyone?
Thomas barely has a face.
It's true.
Thomas, stop wearing your fucking One Piece shirts. We hate weebs here.
No.
Says the guy with the One Piece poster.
You can never loop on fucking...
Do you even know what Lupin is?
No, I've seen that art before. Not that poster specifically, but I've been wondering.
It's like Scooby-Doo, just jumping at any point.
It's like Scooby-Doo,
Oh.
but instead of like solving crimes, they're doing crimes.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
the
like
art
Japanese Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's really fun. I love Lupin. If you want something that's like newer, there's a new movie that came out like a year and a half ago that's like CG, but it's real pretty.
It's like Pixar style CG.
Yeah. There was a Netflix anime I was watching that was like everything was CGI, and it was really weird.
Netflix is their last like 5. Well, no, they do 2D stuff, but a lot of their Netflix original animes have been CG lately, and it's not, and they don't put any money in it. It's like bad CG.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like CG isn't a bad thing, but you're just like it costs less. Let's pay like $20.
I wasn't the one that put it on. All I remember it was about hunting dragons.
Oh, it's Dragon's Dogma. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's based on a really, really, really good video game. Like one of my favorite video games of all time. I haven't watched it, but it looks garbage. And Pierre, who loves everything,
wasn't great.
Anime, it was like, yeah, it wasn't very good. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if Pierre says that, it means it's garbage.
I watched
Yeah.
his video on it.
Didn't really make much sense.
And I mean, like, the story in Dragon's Dogma is kind of weird near the end, but it's good. That game's so good. God damn it.
What consoles was it for?
It was originally for like Xbox 360 and PS3, but it's on like Switch and PS4 and Xbox One and Steam.
Nice.
Yeah, you can get the Dark Arisen version, which is the pretty much complete version with the DLC.
Big old pick.
Yeah, and it's usually pretty cheap. It's like $15-$20 usually. I played it like 4 times all the way through. Probably have like 120 hours in the game, and that's like a lot for me. I usually don't play video games that long.
God Eater was another Netflix video game TV show they did that I actually thought was pretty good.
I think God Eater's a little older than that. Like, I don't think it was originally on Netflix. I think it was just picked up by now.
Netflix likes
I've heard that one's pretty good. At least, like, I think the basis of what I've heard is like the action scenes are really fun to watch, and then everything else is
pretty intense.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
How did we get on? How did we do that?
I think
I was
it
probably
was something about Shania Twain that led us
and
here.
then
Shania Twain, London, Thomas,
Griffin, and then we started talking about
anime.
Yep. Okay.
We've connected the dots.
Okay, the Da Vinci Code's been solved. Anyway, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Why should make us watch the Da Vinci Code? Fantastic Mr. Fox. Yes, I've seen this movie. Yes, Thomas has seen this movie. Philip has not seen this movie.
Yeah, this is the first one.
Have you seen any other Wes Anderson movies?
No, and that's why I did this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Watch Rushmore.
Okay.
Watch The Royal Tenenbaums.
I haven't seen that one.
Watch
Is
all
the best hotel goods?
I really like Grant. That's probably
That's one that's
after
been on my
today.
list for a
It's
long
probably
time.
my second favorite. I think Rushmore is like I love Rushmore, but Grand Budapest is like right after that.
Yeah,
I really
I'll
like,
explain more in general.
The
Watch a lot of-
Darjeeling Limited too. That was really good.
Yeah, I have words about that and that. We'll
Oh.
talk. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
is it on the
interested to hear what
subject?
you
I
guys
think it
think of
might
that.
be.
probably. I feel like that's gonna be the most I talk about for
Fair.
that. Because it's weird. I don't know why I didn't feel this way like when I watched it the first time, but it's Anyway, Fantastic Mr. Fox, I think is based on a Roald Dahl novel book.
Yeah.
Have you read it?
When I was like a kid.
Okay, loser. Have you read it?
No.
That's a winner right there.
What?
We don't read here.
Are they both based on books?
Than I am.
I don't believe Isle of Dogs is based on the book.
It just has a very like chapter-based style.
That's most of his movies.
Yeah, I really got that vibe.
If they don't say chapter on them, they're still like segmented.
Yeah.
But I think most of them have chapters.
He really likes to
His
have...
movies are very close to being style over substance. Thankfully, Wes Anderson knows how to actually put some substance into his story. Yeah. Even if it's not like super deep, stylistic. It's there. But yeah, he likes symmetry. He likes really kind of like
a lot of
muted colors, lots of reds.
Lots of reds and pink. Grand Budapest is like, hey, pink.
Yeah.
Look at this.
But yeah, the plot of Fantastic Mr. Fox is
there's dickhead guy.
There's a fox who's fantastic, and he's a mister, and he's voiced by George Clooney, and he's got a pregnant wife fox, so he can't steal chickens anymore because he promised her. So years pass by, he has his son who's got like Bobby Hill levels of my son disappoints me and is weird.
Oh. That kid was an asshole for like the first half of the movie for sure.
Yeah. But basically, like, they've got the wife's brother is like dying, and so they bring in their nephew to live with them. So they're like, child fox is jealous of him because he's just a lot smoother and cooler and just got his shit together. Taller for sure.
Gets the girl.
Yeah. But, fucking, what's it called? Basically, George Clooney gets kind of fed up. You know, he wants something more. He's like, I'm bored.
He's like, Lancey.
I'm poor. I want those goddamn chickens.
I gotta do me some fox shit.
Yeah, so he gets back into the chicken stealing life and ends up bringing hell upon himself and the wildlife he lives around. And it's just kind of about him coming to terms with his position in life and learning to accept it. And also making up for the wrongdoings he's had, you know. And that's kind of prevalent in both him and his son's storyline. They're both kind of assholes who have to kind of like learn to mend for what they did.
Yeah, but one of them is like getting people murdered. And
I mean, whether they actually are redeemed is a different story. I feel like that plays specifically into Isle of Dogs. Spoiler alert for that real quick, but they throw in that real quick line where they're like, yeah, he's redeemed. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the plot to Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
It's a very charming movie. I think so. I really like it. I like the stop motion.
I thought it was really pleasantly lighthearted. I thought it was really enjoyable watch at the least. Like, thought it was fun.
Oh, absolutely. I will say, I think my biggest gripe with it is I want the wife to play more into the story.
Yeah.
I really like her character. I feel like she didn't have a big enough role in the, climax of the film.
She just kind of popped in when Wes Anderson felt it necessary to provide narrative for Fantastic Mr. Fox's dilemmas.
Yeah, like she definitely like served as like a rock in his story.
Yeah,
but I would have liked to see her do a little more, honestly, because I like the bits of her character that we didn't get.
Man, Wes Anderson likes eyes. That is for certain. Like that. That sidekick of Fantastic Mr. Fox. I can't remember what kind of animal he was.
Oh, the possum?
Yeah, possum. There we go. That opossum with his just like dead eyes and some of those.
Oh, yeah.
That really got me. That was funny as shit sometimes. I like that.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. What do you got to add?
What do you think of the movie?
I like this movie. I feel like I like it less each time, though. I don't know what it is. I think that the movie, like, moves really fast in its pacing and its dialogue, while, like, I feel like a lot of other Wes Anderson movies have really stilted dialogue and, like, a slower pace. This movie, like, goes really fast, and for me, at least, it makes it feel so fucking long. Like, the hour and a half, I'm like, what the fuck? Every time I watch it, I'm like, we've only been watching for 30 minutes. And I'm not necessarily ever bored, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is still going.
Yeah.
And I don't really think any of the characters are super interesting in this movie outside of maybe the fox and maybe his son. But his son's mostly is just like, hey, I'm a dickhead because my dad doesn't love me. Which is fine, but I want like a little more. And definitely I feel like the wife is used like just to be like, I told you so. You should listen to your wife. I don't dislike the movie. I enjoy it every time I watch it, but it's just that's probably my least favorite Anderson movie from what I watched.
I wish I had watched more Wes Anderson films in general.
That's fair. I also watched this movie like after I had seen a bunch of other Wes Anderson movies, like for the first time. So maybe if I had watched it like first, I might have enjoyed it more. But
this wasn't like my first one. It was probably like realistically like my fourth Anderson movie when I saw it. But
I was surprised it was on Disney Plus. I didn't know it was distributed by Disney.
Yeah, Disney bought a lot of the rights to things.
Yeah, I think Fox might have owned it at one point.
I believe so. Both of these were on Disney Plus.
Okay,
that's what I watched them both on.
The same here.
You have Disney Plus?
I bought it for my Muppet kick.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I was thinking, I'm like, was Thomas buying? Now you can watch Mandalorian.
I can.
You won't, but
well, I was watching a little bit of Clone Wars to kind of like Jones me into a Star Wars movie.
Mandalorian feels hollow to me. I don't know what it is.
I don't think it feels hollow, but I don't think it captured, like, I love Star Wars.
Yeah, it just doesn't really hit the mark for me.
There are episodes that feel a lot more hollow than others for me. It just very much feels like different directors are doing different episodes, for me at least. I still really like Mandalorian, and I like the second season, but I don't love all of it like some people do. Which is weird because it's Star Wars, and I usually love everything Star Wars.
I think I've watched like the first 7 episodes of it.
This man loved Solo when it came out.
Oh.
Who?
You?
Me? Yeah. I still love Solo.
I never got around to watching it still to this day, but my only incentive was to watch it because I'm a big Donald Glover guy. But yeah, I've heard bad things about it for certain.
I love Solo.
Let's
let's check the letterbox. Where do I have Solo on my Star Wars ranking list?
What did you give Solo out of 10?
A 10. That's the thing. You can't talk to me about Star Wars because I've given every Star Wars movie a 10 except Episode 9.
He's like with Star Wars how I am for
There's
One
a
Piece.
lot wrong with what you just said there.
No, there's not. But like, yeah, episode 9 I hate.
10s.
No, they're all 10s. They're all super. Solo is 5th on my list. It's right after Return of the Jedi and right above The Phantom Menace.
Okay. Every aspect of that seems too high.
Nah. Actually, so me and my coworkers always talk about pod racing now, to the point that I'm like, the next time I watch episode 1, it's going to be like the greatest experience I've ever had, and it's going to be like, that's the best movie ever made!
So, my dad had originally gotten the the Battlefront Edition PS4 when it came out, with Darth Vader on it and the controller and stuff, and it came installed with like all of the old Star Wars games minus like Battlefront.
Pod Racer.
So I've got both of the Pod Racers games.
Fantastic.
It's pretty solid.
Nice.
But yeah,
Plays
Solo's
Ben
awesome.
Quadinaros.
Ben Quadinaros.
Who did?
He's the greatest guy ever.
They have a picture of him out there.
Oh.
He's the guy with the big head.
Hold on, I got tons of pictures of him. Here he is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can play it.
No, I know you can. I was asking if you do.
I've played it like 3 times.
Oh,
I'm just like, neat novelty. And then I stop. But I actually really enjoyed the 9th movie on my first watch. And then I realized
seen it still,
the errors in it. But like,
I watched it.
It was pleasant enough, and there's a lot of really good visuals. So like, it kept my dead brain entertained while I was watching it for the first time around.
Well, I'm gonna say London's hottest Star Wars take that I always tell people. We're not going to talk about it any further because it's just going to go on to be like 1,000 years. But The Last Jedi is my favorite Star Wars film.
That's the first one in the...
That's the second one. Yeah, we're not.
That'll be a conversation for another time.
Yeah, episode 9.
I've met one other person like you.
Well, Hina Tay is another. I mean, that's her favorite Star Wars movie too. You'll meet a third person.
Did you not like the J.J. Abrams did the films? They did the first.
I like the first one fine. I like the first one. It's not like my favorite of them, but I really enjoy it. I thought it was a good addition. I thought Kylo was really cool in the first and the second, and then I don't know. It's not even like that. He like ruined stuff from 8. It's just like he ruined stuff from his own first movie. I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Episode 9 just really wasn't a great time for me, and I watched it 2 times in a row because I bought tickets being like, I fucking love Star Wars. I'm gonna watch this 2 times in a row, opening night. And then I watched it, I'm like, oh, fuck me. And then I watched it a second time, and I liked it even less. I'm like, no!
7 is the bane of my roommate's existence. He hates what they did to Luke Skywalker.
Chewbacca. No,
Yeah.
that's my. I love Luke.
That they gave him a beard?
No,
He's not even in 7.
I know.
No, that's the reason I like the sequels, at least the first 2, so much as I really like Luke's character in that, which is
he hates that it's such a like quote betrayal to his character.
that's the thing. It's like now we're talking about Star Wars. I'll just go on this for 1 second. People that say the Luke Skywalker it's like a betrayal of his character are too obsessed with like Legends material because it's completely on par with who he is as a person in episode 5 and 6, who he struggles with the dark side a whole lot, and he like barely overcomes it because of his family. It makes perfect sense that he would abandon his beliefs because his family member was ruined because of him, pretty much. And the people that like Legends material, it's fine, but Legends material made Luke to be like this god tier human that made no mistakes ever and was just pretty much like walking Jesus who could do whatever. And it's not a fun character. It's just boring. Episode 8 Luke is the best Luke.
That quick rant was a much better explanation than the last guy I spoke to who had the same train of thought as you and thought that 8 was the best movie. Because he was basically just like, I like flaws in characters, and didn't give me.
I think that's fine to say too. Like, you don't have to explain everything. I also like. The thing is, I think about Star Wars like 80% of the time. So I have the things I want to say about Star Wars are always just ready. Yeah. So I understand other people that are just like, yeah, I like flaws in my character. That's fine to say. I
think we can all agree that Luke is the best Luke.
No, we're not fucking talking about Luke. Okay, I guess I'll explain to you who Luke is real quick. So in Legends, there was... do you remember when Luke got his hand cut off?
You for sure.
In Legends, there was an evil clone of him made, and his name was Luke with 2 U's.
That's dumb.
It's really dumb. There was also a joke made. It was like a joke comic, or it was like an April Fool's, I can't remember what it was, but they printed something where there was another clone of Luke who was named Luke with 3 U's. But at least they knew it was a joke at that point. But oof.
All right. Anyway, Fantastic
Mr. Fox. Speaking of character flaws, I don't know. I feel like the Fox himself, he never really... I wish there was more of a...
Yeah, he learns his lesson by getting them out of the situation and doing the same thing. He's like,
he just does what he's like, this is what I do best.
Yeah.
But
let me save us by robbing them again.
He never really has a moment where he really was like, yeah, I fucked up. There's little pieces of that here and there, but I want to see more of that. And I know it's like, this isn't a kid's movie either. But it's definitely targeted more to a younger demographic than some of his other movies, I would say. And I don't know.
I was interested what the demographic was, because I didn't think it was a kid's movie going into it, but then it is.
I mean, they definitely
it's like a kind of like Muppets where it's like, yeah, kids can watch it because it's like pretty animated, but it's not really specifically targeted at any specific demographic.
Yeah.
I thought the cuss thing was very cheeky the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about them going cussing the whole time, it's fine, but I think they went into it a little too hard sometimes. I really like exploration of character flaws and
I feel like they did speed by it when it did reach that point when his wife's like, I shouldn't have married you, and he goes up the ladder and he comes back down.
He's like, I'm gonna go speedrun real quick.
Yeah, and
and that's another thing with some of his other dialogue, like the slower paced ones. there's more of exploration of like characters, and in this I didn't feel that for like any of the characters. That's my main issue with the movie, I think.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely tries to get it across like more so in gestures than it does in actual like things happening or like actual things being exposited out.
It was fairly shallow, but
It's still fine. Like, I like the movie. I like the music. I like the visuals. I really like Willem Dafoe as the rat.
Yeah, I really like the casting.
Is that
for these
who that
movies.
was?
Yeah. The casting is always great in Wes Anderson.
Yeah, I noticed that in researching some of his other films. That we got the Bill Murrays and
Bill Murray, Edward Norton pops
Edward
up
Norton.
every once in a while.
Scarlett Johansson was in Isle of Dogs.
Yeah, she was.
Nice.
It's the worst character.
She played...
She just played the female dog who, like, doesn't do anything.
Oh, okay. I see.
Not the other worst character is played by Greta Gerwig.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah. Which is on... Oh. Okay, let's go around. Thomas, you're going to give this movie a 7. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Philip, you're going to give this movie... Have you assigned any numerical value to it? Okay.
Yeah, I thought of this.
You're going to give it a 7.
That was so all over the place. You said 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Were you about to say 4? I heard like a...
I was going to say 6, but...
Lennon, you're going to give this movie a 6?
Was he right?
Oh, yeah. I'll give it a 7.
And I would give it a 6. We're all right today. Woo! Isle of Dogs.
I hated this movie when I first saw it.
Really? Why did you? They were so... I remember us seeing it in theaters. You're like, yeah, I wasn't as much as... I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, I was kind of... I was disappointed, and then, like, the more I thought about it, I was just like, it's probably, like, my least favorite of his films. And let me explain it here and now.
You hate Japanese people.
Exactly. It's
Hot
close.
take.
No,
Did you guys see this in theaters together?
Yeah, we saw it on like an employee showing.
Oh.
That was one of the first movies I watched.
I
with
wish
Thomas.
we had worked at that movie theater together as well.
Yeah. I was the greatest boss of all
And
time.
we watched...
I was the manager there.
I was the manager there. I was the only one that did anything. Ever.
We watched the other great dog movie, too. Sergeant Step.
Oh my god, I'm gonna pick Sergeant Step.
Was Travis still there?
No. Travis was long gone by the time London came around.
He was a character.
Just a bunch of garbage.
They were all
people.
characters.
They were. Anyway, yeah, so I don't like this movie. I guess we can
You still don't like this movie? Do you like it anymore?
I think I liked it more this time because I knew more so what to expect from it. But I still think a lot of pretty much all my criticisms previously still hold up.
Okay.
So I guess let's basically explain the plot real quick.
Yeah.
There's a mayor.
A mayor.
An evil mayor. Kobayashi.
Kobayashi, thank you.
Yes,
So
I watched
the Kobayashi
5 minutes
family.
of this on my lunch break.
Oh, the Kobayashi family is like this long-running kind of dynasty who hates dogs and loves cats.
Mm-hmm.
And the current mayor is like, I'm going to kill all the dogs. And they put them all on Trash Island.
Yeah, they genetically create this dog flu, and then they send them all to a trash heap island.
Because dog flu could become human flu.
And then, they basically plan to genocide all the dogs. But this one little kid named
order for
Atari,
yeah.
who's like a nephew of
a distant
the mayor.
mayor.
But, his parents died, so he's, under his care. And he's like, we got you this bodyguard dog named Spots. But just kidding.
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah. But just kidding. We're taking all the dogs and putting them on this island. So the kid goes after the dog.
It's another pack of dogs, and they go on a little adventure, and then they get Spot back, and then they save the world.
Yep.
I like Bryan Cranston in this.
Bryan Cranston's he has such a great voice. I love Bryan Cranston's voice.
Okay. My gripes.
White people.
White, yes. Yeah. I think the whole white savior thing that happens with the movie is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I didn't like her character the first time I saw this movie. I probably liked it even less this time. Because she doesn't accomplish it. She just takes other people's accomplishments.
And says it in English.
Yeah, and it's like, we didn't need any of this. She definitely feels like a Steve Martin and Godzilla kind of character where, that movie, they went in and retroactively filmed a white guy and inserted him into this already pre-established movie.
And
here.
that's kind of what it feels like.
Exactly. So I don't like that aspect of the movie. And the other thing I don't like is we get introduced to this pack of dogs that we travel with for like the first 2/3 of the movie, and then they just get like written out of the movie, and it almost feels like they were meant to die in that scene, but like just like maybe Wes Anderson or a producer decided that was too dark, so don't do that. But they come back, and then they don't do anything.
They
for
say
the
like
rest of
3
the movie.
things.
Yeah, and
That's a good take on that. Like, I didn't really think about how they probably should have died. It was kind of weird how they just felt absent for the rest of the film, and then it was just Bryan Cranston and eventually Spots.
yeah, and I didn't feel like they. Like, obviously, Bryan Cranston had gotten the most focus out of any of them, but I felt like his relationship with Atari wasn't built up at all, and it's just like...
We play fetch, and then now we're best friends.
And it's like, then he lets him take a bath. I felt like that should have been more...
Multiple
earned
scenes.
with some crumbs leading up to it. Yeah. And I also don't like the twist that he turns out to be from Spot's litter, and he turned out to be...
I like it just because I thought it was really dumb.
I just think it's really dumb, and I didn't think it was dumb in a good way, so
I thought it was dumb in a good way. But I get it. I'm like on the same coin as you, that it's dumb. I just think it's funny because it's dumb.
But yeah, I would say those are like my big gripes holding back the whole movie for the most part. Like, I'm sure there's probably like little things, but positives, looks good.
Looks fantastic. I think this looks better than Fantastic Mr. Fox. Obviously, he had like 10 extra years.
Yeah, it's a lot more ambitious visually than Mr. Fox, too.
Yeah.
There's a lot more going on screen.
There are scenes where he's literally just like, now watch this shit. Like the scene where they're preparing the sushi. He's like, watch what I can do. Obviously, it's not him doing it. But.
I also think that this film with the target demographic was a little off. I feel like they made it a little bit more adult when it didn't necessarily...
Well, and it bombed. It bombed because of that.
Yeah, I like
was it meant to be a kids movie?
No, it was PG-13, so like kids couldn't go see it if they wanted to. But really, I feel like this movie has like the attitude of like an 80s kids movie, like one of the ones that wasn't really afraid to traumatize kids. But it doesn't go that far even. It's just like, it has like themes of death and like genocide and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they don't go hard into any of these ideas. Like people die, like they poison that one guy.
Yeah, aside from like that one poisoning scene and the scene where like Bryan Cranston chews that one dog's ear off towards the beginning, I really don't think this tone would have been too dark.
The poisoning scene wasn't like very,
and even then, I don't
very
think
prominent though. Like we never really saw it.
I don't think that they could have left that in and called it a kids movie, and I would have been like, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah. I've seen people die.
Well, yeah, it's just like
a slightly darker tone,
and it feels like.
Fantastic.
Go ahead.
Just then, Fantastic Mr. Fox, like it wasn't that much more intense, but.
It's just, and it feels like maybe it was darker before, like maybe those dogs did die in that scene, like I could understand it then, but I think a lot of it, and I'll talk about the whiteness in this movie real quick.
Yeah.
It's really weird, because I like the idea of, the people speaking Japanese will know subtitles. I think that's fine. If the dogs are just talking English, that's fine.
I felt like it only served to like alienate us from the Japanese.
No, exactly. If it was just Japanese characters and no subtitles and no English dialogue outside of the dogs, I would be fine with it. But the thing is, they insert like this white character and they insert a translator. So it's like, hey, you do need to know these what they're talking about here.
Yeah, I felt like it was just like meant to be. I can't think of the right, like just cultural world building. Like here, look, you're more deeper in Japan because people are speaking Japanese. And we're definitely in Japan.
Yeah, and I'm just like, what's the point? Like, if the point is to other you from the human characters, so that you're like, hey, I'm in the world of dogs. This makes sense. And I'm like, I don't speak this language. Then you should not have other characters speaking English.
Yeah, like
I looked up some stuff about that because I was curious, and apparently some like fluent Japanese speaking people that had seen the movie were like, yeah, they spoke pretty broken Japanese. It didn't really come out right. It was really just for immersion. They weren't really saying anything.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, apparently there was still dialogue, like it was still fluent, but like it just wasn't quite translated correctly.
But yeah.
Wes Anderson just writes it and then Google Translate, put it in Japanese, please. It just feels like Wes Anderson does not know a lot of people that are not white. And I think that's the main issue. And it's like another reason, like, Wes Anderson doesn't put any black people in his movies, like, ever. And, like, this has a couple Japanese people, but they're not main characters, even in Japan. They're like, what if we make Greta Gerwig the main character? Atari's in it, yes. Atari's, like, the one main character in it that's Japanese.
I was waiting for him to drop dead, like, the whole time. And I know that sounds really bad, but I'm like...
He was doing well. He wasn't doing. He was like limping. Yeah. Like I think.
Like he was more like gruesome as the scenes carried, and like his ear on that side kept getting real worse. And I'm like, that's still in your head, guy. Are you gonna die on this island? I don't know if that was the vibe they were going for, but he really just waited until he wanted to have him drop dead.
Which is unfortunate because outside of that. I really like the story in this movie. I enjoy it enough, and I like a lot of this film, but it just feels culturally insensitive because of this. I don't think I would have as big of an issue in this if just Tracy wasn't a character in it. Mm-hmm. I also do not like Nutmeg as a character. Like, she adds nothing. There's no, it's just like, you want to fuck. And it's like,
but yeah. Pretty dog for pretty girl.
And I'm like, why? Give her a character. It's like, I think Wes Anderson was writing this and he's like, holy shit, there's no women in my movie. I'm gonna make a white woman savior and white woman dog.
I thought the scene where she's talking to herself at the board with all the connecting dots, where she was like, I have a crush on you. That was so corny. I'm like, yeah, that was really unnecessary. Like,
and I'm like, yeah, we know. We were
I
watching.
honestly forgot about that part. And like whenever, like, I remember thinking the same thing when I saw it in theaters the first time. He looks like his character is supposed to be like 9, and her character looks like she could be like 14.
Yeah, it's like Anakin and Padme.
So I was just like, so it just throws me off every time. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I didn't really think that there needed to be a romantic aspect in that way. I didn't see it serving a purpose, but, you know, they needed the dog romance and the people romance, so we were more invested or something.
No, it's just like...
I want to watch those dogs fuck.
One of my big movie gripes in general, the forced love interest.
Yeah. That's a big thing of Wyatt's as well.
And they won't even give us our love interest on the Screen Weens movie.
No.
You think we're ever going to get a movie? Like a Smosh movie?
No. I won't allow it. I won't sign on to it. You'll have to have Pierre or Joe fill for me.
What if I wrote it? And I literally just take the script for Ghostmates and go cross off like Ian's name, but Thomas.
I feel like Ian would sue us. He'd be like, no, bro, shut up.
Shut up.
I don't know if you guys watch any new Smosh, but some of the Try Not to Laugh stuff I think is really funny.
Yeah, I watched the new episode before it came over here.
Oh, nice. I just...
The fuck? There are people that watch Smosh? I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't... This is going to be a really hot take, but I didn't watch early Smosh. My roommate watched early Smosh.
I watched
early Smosh. Didn't watch new Smosh for quite a while, but those Try Not to Laugh with Gus Johnson, those are fucking...
Yeah, those are what got me into it.
I don't know.
Yeah, they bring in like... Guest stars all the time. Every once in a while.
All I know is that Good Mythical Morning owns Smosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. That's always weird to think about. Like, that's weird.
They were bought by some other company, and then, like, that's when Anthony left, because he's like, this other company treats us like shit, and they were like, we fucking hate this, and then Rat and
liquidated.
Basically was like, yeah, we'll buy you so you can survive. And,
yeah. That I don't know what happened to that media company, but they just straight liquidated and fucked off.
Now they're going to buy Screen Weens.
Oh. This is the reveal.
This is the reveal. Thomas, we're like 15 subscribers away from 200.
Are you guys going to be on Rhett and Link next?
Yeah.
Rhett and Link? Yeah. Do you want to join the podcast?
We'll be on Ear Biscuits. You'll be on Screen Weens.
There you go.
I don't know.
I've watched like
that's their
5
My parents watch a lot of Rhett and Link, but I have never watched a Link.
How are they racist?
Really?
I don't know.
What?
Said Howard Thomas's parents racist then?
How is watching Rhett and Link make you not rage?
I mean, Good Mythical Morning, like, they talk about, like, social issues a decent amount. Like, maybe not, like, straight, but it's like...
Most of what I see is just, like, the brief clips.
Food. Yeah,
where it's
they
just...
do that a lot.
It's just the brief clips where they're just like, we're gonna eat this weird alternate universe Cheeto.
You're right. I watch a lot of, like, supplementary content.
That's
their
the
main
kind of
content.
All of
I've
what I
always
see
walked
from
down.
them is really supplementary.
It's like them like eating a sandwich and they're like, well, this sandwich tastes kind of moist.
I mean, I also watch those. They're just, like, easy watches.
Some of the spin-off stuff, there's... I can't remember the name of the series, but they've got a chef guy.
Mythical Kitchen, Josh.
Mythical Kitchen. I like to watch his stuff on Snapchat because I like to watch it in a bad
Snapchat?
form. I know, I don't...
You can watch things on Snapchat?
Yeah, you don't know this?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't used Snapchat since, like, 2014.
I don't suggest it because the ads are so bad.
There are ads on Snapchat?
Okay, I'm just gonna...
What the fuck is going on?
I'm gonna give you a glimpse of this. So,
Everything
here's your people, here's your videos, and here's, like, stories. Yeah, it's changed so much from its original incarnation that you know. So, like, here's your Mythical Kitchen, your IGN Daily Fix, and I'd also watch, like,
Did you watch
Seth
the
Meyers.
news?
No, I just like late night stuff.
What the fuck is going? You're blowing my goddamn mind.
I'd like to watch it in this form. No, it's just Seth Meyers and Trevor Noah. I don't pay attention to Jimmy Kimmel much.
Kimmel. Fuck Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, you want to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
I hate you, but...
You can host the Oscars again.
Jimmy Kimmel seems like really top or really bottom tier late night host.
I'd rather watch James Corden than Jimmy Kimmel.
I don't like James Corden at all either.
Yeah, I don't care. I like him in Into the Woods, I guess.
It goes
the
like
baker.
Conan, Seth Meyers, and
Conan's
Trevor Noah.
sick.
Conan is
gone.
in terms of like
He's 6'5".
oh, nice.
Yeah, man, it's huge.
In terms of like more traditional, like actually does like shows pretty much every night
Yeah.
kind of talk show host. He's definitely
So, Isle of Dogs.
Oh yeah.
We're just about done.
going
Philip,
on a
what are your thoughts on Isle of Dogs?
I didn't know how to feel about the movie. I really enjoyed the watch initially.
Mhm.
Like, it's captivating enough that I really paid attention to it the majority of the time. And, like, obviously his visuals are so, like, grandiose that there's so many details. Like, there was one scene in Fantastic Mr. Fox where we see the, surveillance cameras behind him and one of the, like, established owners is just reading a magazine. And there's so much to look at. Like, I'm reading his magazine as opposed to watching the videos in the back. And, like, Isle of Dogs is that way, too. Like, so detail-oriented in Wes Anderson's style. But there were definitely flaws with the story. And the love interest stuff was pretty pointless. But overall, I didn't think it was terrible. Like, I enjoyed the watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I like loved it the first time I watched it. And I think in general, that was at a weird point in my life. Like, I had just gotten a job. I had been
It always had
depressed. And that was like my first experience with like, hey, these could be my new friends. And I'm like, Thomas is my best friend now.
Nice.
Hannah, she's right there.
right over there.
Say, Hannah, come on. She's been
Hannah, come out of the closet. Come on.
Wait, Hannah, who?
Are we legally
that
able
person?
to say their last name on the podcast? Did we say it in the episode she was on?
I don't know.
She was on-
Better not. I don't know.
Yeah,
You can tell me later.
yeah, we'll tell you after the
Alright.
podcast.
Would I know?
Montana.
Oh,
Yeah, Hannah Montana.
you got
Possible.
bringing out the big guns.
She was on the podcast one.
Yeah.
She was our first guest.
Nice.
Maybe.
I think
Was it Lucero?
Joe and Lucero.
Joe doesn't count.
All right, Joe does.
Joe's been on too many episodes to count as a guest anymore. Even retroactively. It's like,
So,
nah.
I think you should have each member individually, or from Saturdays is for the Boys, and then all of us all at once. Get really chaotic in here.
Oh, wait, what? Oh,
I think you should have like
group?
Jonathan on, and then Tito and Matt. Matt should definitely be on. I think that'd be really entertaining.
Yeah, how come you haven't brought any of your friends?
And then have us all at once so we can just...
Do they all have COVID?
Really
Do you have COVID?
No.
Okay.
I have one of my 2 vaccines.
Powerful.
I get my second one in a couple days, actually.
You're gonna feel like shit after.
Yeah, I'm ready for that.
But I only felt like shit for like 2 days. I was happy. And then I felt like a fucking superhero. Anyway, yeah, I liked Isle of Dogs substantially less than I did, and it kind of made me feeling comfortable watching it.
Mm.
And I'm just like, this is annoying, because without these elements, I would enjoy this movie substantially more.
These are not elements that I really thought of when I was watching it, but as you guys have brought it to light, I really see it.
Yeah. Well, and I saw it a lot more the second time I watched it.
Yeah, the white hero thing really makes sense to me.
Yeah, we should have... Philip just said, yeah, we should have more of those stories. It really makes sense to me.
No.
Yeah. White hero.
That's what I was saying.
White people save. Okay, let's go reverse. Philip, you'd give this a 7.
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Throwing a half.
God damn. Okay.
I also.
What the fuck?
Oh, you'd give this a 6?
No.
Oh. A 4?
Yeah.
Oofta.
What'd you give it the first time? Like a 3?
I don't know. I might be on my letterbox.
Simply for the visual effects, I have to give it some merit. But
that's why I gave it a 4.
Yeah. Remember, Thomas. Anytime Thomas sees a Japanese person, he lowers it by 1.
Let me just say, production value plays little to no effect in my ranking.
Yeah, that's fair. You can have a big budget and it still be a really bad movie.
London gives it a 5.
Yeah, that was hot. Oh no, what are we watching?
Oh, he doesn't know.
For next week.
Oh, fuck.
I still say a good and a bad Adam Sandler.
We're doing a bag.
I gave it a 6.
This is bag stuff.
Originally. We're doing a bag.
Yeah, I think we should just do a bag.
Should we give Philip the honors?
Why did you go from a 6 to a 4?
Thomas was too... He was being too nice before.
I was.
Oh, why don't you roll? Why don't you roll and see if we get it? 4 or less. You know, a 5 or less.
You've got 2 die there. That's...
Yeah. That's an 11.
Gosh.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Let me... Okay, hold on. Got it. Hold on. Okay. We're gonna watch...
Emperor's New Groove. Best Disney princess film.
That's it. We're going back. We're doing it again. We're going back to Jarmusch. We're doing another double feature from Jarmusch.
This could be good or bad.
What is Jarmusch?
Jim Jarmusch. He directed The Dead Don't Die and Patterson and Stranger Than Paradise. 3 movies we've covered on the podcast. 2 of which I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. And 1 of which I did not enjoy.
I remember you guys talking about those, but I have not seen them.
We're going to watch Mystery Train. And we're going to watch Night on Earth.
Okay, Either of those have Scooby-Doo.
You know what? We're changing. We're doing the 2 live action. No, no, because you guys should. You'd give them like a 6, and I'd be like, Thomas, we can't be friends anymore. They're like masterpieces.
Well, the audience will find out which one I like better. If I haven't already stated that.
No, I already said it. Night on Earth, Mystery Train.
Okay. Scooby-Doo Island is significantly better than the one where they're not on an island.
I think Mystery Island. I think the first one's like a masterpiece. I love that movie.
I have fonder memories with the Weird Island one.
I like the second one more because it feels more like Scooby-Doo to me.
I understand the sentiment there, but I really enjoy the second one as well. Anyway, thanks everyone for listening to the podcast or watching it in video form on youtube.com/. Next week we'll be talking about
Linkara's
Earth at Night on Earth and Mystery Train. Did you say Linkara? Do you want to switch to a nostalgia critic? Okay. It will happen next end of the year. We gotta watch more.
No.
Yeah.
Why do you want to support that asshole?
It's not watching a YouTube rip of his movies is not even like. Yeah, thanks, Philip, for being on the podcast. You can come back in 30 episodes.
Ooh.
No,
that's so mean.
Just kidding. You can come back whenever you want. All right, thanks
covered
everybody
Mel
for.
Brooks silent movie.
No, hold on. Yeah, I gotta reference that. Like, you said it to another person as well, so I realized that's just your blanket statement. Movie. Wow, that was
What
too hard to
movie?
say. You said that both me and Matt's favorite movie were some really random one, and at first
What did I say?
I do not remember, but it was something that was weird and bad.
Kangaroo Jack.
No,
We're switching gears. What did I?
it was a silent film, Serbian film.
That's not a silent movie. That movie's awesome. You should watch it.
No,
Why?
I realized from the rest of your conversation I should not watch that
It's
movie.
just a little fucked. But it's a good movie.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for being on the podcast and supporting us. Goodbye.